Greetings, class. I'm your humble teacher, Dr. Tyson McMillan, Dr. T. In this class, I'm taking you on a journey about how to develop a website from beginning to there is no end, but maintenance thereafter. By that, I mean that a website is never really done. We're constantly working to update it, to change it. But the skills in this class will help equip you with the tools that you need in order to help you do so. I'm going on 25 years as a web development specialist, and I've taught classes for over 17 years doing this type of thing. I love this stuff. So I'm coming to you from my ranch, teaching you step by step the way that I actually, on a day-to-day basis, learn to use web development to help be productive in my everyday life. It's a skill set you will never regret having, and I'm glad that you're giving me the honor of being your teacher in this course. We're going to go chapter by chapter through the Duckett textbook, and I'll record various videos throughout this course, hopefully of a smaller nature, mini videos to help kind of give you an idea of the web development process. But with no further ado, let us begin the conversation with chapter 1 in the Duckett text. It begins with a conversation about HTML structure. And when we talk about structure, I want you to get comfortable with the basic structure of a web page. Think of this as the framework that holds everything together. If you understand the doc type, the HTML elements, the head, the title, the body, you're on the right track to understanding web development as a whole. For every assignment that we do in this course, you're going to have those elements. So I want you to pay attention to these tags, the open and close, how elements are nested together, how clean elements and structure make for a wonderful website project. And so that's what we'll be seeking to do in this particular process as I guide you step by step. Let me share my screen and let's talk a little bit more about this. So if we can see here from the notes that are posted in your class, we'll talk about some basic lecture notes that I have doing these live demonstrations or these on-demand demonstrations for your particular point of view. But as you look through these, you're going to see that our goal is to focus on some elements that are going to get you ready for the quizzes, but also some hands-on projects that are going to help you throughout this course. HTML has a purpose. It serves as the structure of your website. And by HTML, we mean Hypertext Markup Language. That's what it stands for there. There are differences between the head and the body. They make a very, very important role. The body is where the main content that the typical user sees will be. Certainly, it's very, very important for that purpose. Title elements are used to index your website and to also make sure we understand what page we're dealing with. And we're also working with opening and closing tags. You're going to see for every opening, you generally have an end. There's an open title and an end title tag there. But we'll get into that as we type more of this. We're also looking to nesting content and how pages come together through the coding process as well. The beautiful thing about every website that you begin with in this class is going to have the following elements. We're always going to begin with that doc type HTML. It's going to have a matching close HTML element there at the end. They are together talking about us forming a website as a whole. So the doc type tells us that it is an HTML page. It is an HTML with the language being English. Closing here at this particular point, end of the HTML body document. When we talk about the head, short for header, we are establishing that we have the UTF-8 character set, which tells the browser that we are indeed going to be dealing with the English language in terms of the code that we're parsing. Generally speaking, you have meta elements which help to describe the website a little bit better and tell you the scale the browser should be upon. These are just some kind of behind the scenes ways that search engines work to index websites. And so that's what they're for. Again, the title element with the beginning and end lives within the header, and that helps describe to us what the web page is doing in terms of indexing within a larger website. You have individual web pages that live within the larger website itself. Then when we get into the body, that's where we're going to begin doing the main content that people see on the page. We'll type this up and show you in preview how those particular items work together. But this is just a basic little web page, namely called index.html, that we'll be working with to start our process here in this particular class. And I'm using a tool over here called Replit. It's one of the tools I recommend. It can help lead and guide you throughout this course, but there's some other free tools that we'll give you out there if it's not within your budget to use this particular tool. I'll be using it throughout this demonstration because I have a license that I purchased in that regard, and I do want to save these for future access and for future sharing with students. So I have that available, and you may choose to do so as well. So let's clear up a little bit of annotation here, if you will, and let's begin implementing some of these concepts over here on the main part of our code. I have established a basic HTML structure here, index.html being the main page that we're working with, and this is the code that lives upon it within the file tree structure of this particular website. It's telling us these particular elements. And now, as I look through this, I'm clicking on index, and I'm ready to get to work here in terms of coding the website itself. The doc type already there in terms of code. Let's go ahead and put back in that meta name, which I had previously deleted, but it's wonderful to make sure that our websites are being indexed properly. So type that less than, and we're going to put that scale in there just like they need. Viewport, content, width of the device, initial scale, making sure that it fits on a screen very, very nicely for us. And so you may have me zooming in and out to make things a little bit better for you on screen there as we capture on this video, but made it to where it all fit on one line and on one screen to let you know that there's no break in that code there. All right, but okay, my title, I called it Dr. T's Web Page App Lesson Homepage Index. That's where we're going to begin this journey. And ultimately, I'll link a style sheet in some future lessons that's going to help us look at the design element of the website. But for right now, our basic web page is going to have a body and a heading 1. That is 1, not an L as in Larry, but a heading 1. Heading 1, Dr. T Web Page Lesson, Homepage Index.html. Let's go to the preview there. You can see what our basic website looks like at this point in time. Nothing too spectacular. It's just a basic structure that we're using to kind of get started. And so in the example, I said, welcome to web development. Let's go ahead and do that. But for fun, I'm going to say, make that a heading 2. Sometimes I like to go off script. Heading 2 or second level elements. So we say, welcome to web development. You are our students, and we're glad to have you. So whenever I get ready to put a paragraph on a page, it begins with the P element. And as you can see, I'm lining up this content as best I can. HTML really does not care about alignment, but I do a lot of that to make sure for structural wise that we're good. Notice that there are line numbers over here on this side too to help you keep track of where I'm typing some things as well. But what we talked about, this page shows basic structure of an HTML document. Watch that auto-correcting AI. They try to get in our way. Overrule it, human, for we are in charge. Okay. I went ahead and put my paragraph tags a little bit different than the example because I wanted to line them up a little bit better. And so what are we going to be learning throughout this course? Another H2 tag. What we're going to learn together? Okay, and by the way, I want to go see my latest changes. Okay, you can see that heading 1's a little bit bolder, bigger. Heading 2's are bold and a little bit smaller relative to the heading 1 for structure. Paragraph content is a smaller text and And so the block level as it relates to its heading to content. So we have labels and content being developed throughout this particular assignment. That's what we're doing. That's what we're building as we type this code and seeing it come to life here for us. And so you're going to be asked to produce headings and paragraphs throughout the assignments of this course. And so what will we learn? Let's answer that question through another paragraph that we have established on the page. We will be talking about, you will learn how the head stores information about the page, and the body, what does it do? Contains, as we were talking about here in our text, I scroll the visible content. That's right. That's such an important point. The content here in the body, that's what you actually see in the preview here. You see? We're not seeing a lot of that content that's happening up in the head, in the title. That doesn't appear here. But a lot of the work that we're doing, the process that we're working, much of it is going to be done in the body itself. And so that is the end of the body in our simple demonstration. And that's the end of HTML in our simple demonstration. At any point, if I want to share this code with you, I have this invite button up here. I can create a private join link that will allow me to send this to you and give you direct access to edit my code. What I'll probably do is make this a public link and give this link up here for y'all to be able to view my code and kind of work from it as well. The best thing you can do throughout this course is to actually do these lessons one-on-one yourself, build your confidence, and really, really practice to get towards perfection. You're not going to be perfect by the end of this class, but we're going to be practicing to get towards perfection through these processes thereof. But there's my basic web page starter. He's not doing a lot right now, but it's going to grow throughout this course. For further study, look at the Mozilla Development Network. Certainly a great resource. Look at how HTML and structure and content work together in your your textbook, in terms of this particular class. And so these are going to help you as well in chapter number 1. This lesson is a great foundation for assignment number 0 that we're going to launch into and teach you how to set up the development environment. In assignment number 1, you certainly are going to need these skills because we're going to ask you to develop various headings and paragraphs around your topic. And certainly this is going to reinforce skills throughout the course that are going to be used in the final project as well. And so this lesson is available in your LMS menu, these notes, and I'm going to post this video as well to reinforce its concepts as well. Additionally, I'll do my best to also give you this particular link whereby you can have access to my code and see as I build it live. You'll see the file tree come to life. Because in this particular file tree underneath the web folder, index.html is going to be complemented by other pages we build in this system. I'm going to make a menu item system to go between them to link, and then we're going to build it and hopefully make it look more pretty. I call that wow factor to make it look more professional through cascading style sheets. Thank you for your kind time and attention on this first lesson. We certainly will continue to build on it throughout this course, and I look forward to being with you on this journey. Dr. T, signing out, and we'll talk soon.